Hi, second grade, Miss Daly here. For today's math lesson, we will be doing lesson 11. Our I can statement is I can use square tiles to create a rectangular array. First, how many rows do you see? If you said one row, you are right. Remember, rows go from side to side. Up here, I only see one row going side to side. How many tiles are in the row? If you said 10, you are right. Let's count all together. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Now, did I make a rectangle? Yes or no? Yes, I did make a rectangle. Even though I only have one row, I have a rectangle right here. All right, now, I want to make this long row of 10 tiles into a rectangular array that looks different from this one, okay? Let's go ahead and see what we can do. I see two different colors. I think that's a hint to me to tell me that I'm gonna make two rows of tiles. Now, the easiest way to do this for me, sometimes if I had my own tiles, I would just rearrange them really quickly on my own. For these purposes, I'm just going to take these 5, put them down here, take these 5, and put them right underneath. Now, did the number of tiles change? No, I didn't take any tiles away and I didn't even add any tiles. They're the same total. But did my repeated addition statement change? Yeah, it did because I rearranged them and organized them in a different way. My first one was one row of 10. Now I have how many rows? 2 rows of how many in each row? 5, 2 rows of 5. Now, my repeated addition statement is going to look a little different. The first one I want to find is based on the columns. Remember, columns go up and down. So I'm going to move my mouse up and down, up and down, up and down. When I move my mouse up and down to find this column, how many are in this column? 2. Good. My next column is 2 plus 2 plus 2 plus 2. When I do this by columns, up and down, up and down, up and down, there's 2 in each column. Now my rows look like what? Side to side. So I'm going to move my mouse side to side, side to side. When I move my mouse from side to side, I see a row. How many are in this row? 5 plus, how many in this row? 5. Now, I want you to put your hands on your head. If you think the total for these two statements will be the same, do you think that this equation and this equation will have the same total? If you think so, put your hands on your head. It will. It will totally have the same total because I didn't add any tiles and I didn't take away any tiles. The total stays the same. 5 plus 5 is 10. 2 plus 2 is 4 plus 2 is 6 plus 2 is 8 plus 2 is 10. Good. Now, how many rows do you see? 1 row. I have 1 row of how many? Let's count. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14 tiles. I have 1 row of 14. Whoa. I want to make this into an array that looks different than this one. Think of what array you could make with 14 tiles. What I'm going to do, see if yours would match mine. I'm going to make an array with 2 rows. My first row is going to have 7. If I split this right in the middle to create 2 rows, there would be 7 in the first row and 7 in the second row. I just rearranged them to make 2 rows. Now I need my repeated addition statement with 2 rows. If I have 7 in the first row and 7 in the second row, I have 7 plus 7 equals 14. Notice my total did not change. Now for this one, we are going to arrange some square tiles. My first one says to place 8 square tiles in a row. Show me with your arm what a row looks like. Wait, do you disagree? Which way do rows go? Good, I thought I would trick you. Did you get tricked? Hope not. All right, rows go this way. So I need to place 8 square tiles in a row. So side to side. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. There's my row. Now I need to construct an array with 8 square tiles. For this one, I want to construct it into 2 columns. Which way do columns go? Oh, that's right, up and down. Show me what a column looks like. Up and down. I want to create 2 columns. If I want to create 2 columns with 8 tiles, how many squares are going to be in those columns? Whew, that's tricky. One thing we can do that we did in lesson 10 is we can just first make 2 equal groups. Let's do that first. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. There's 8 square tiles, and I put them into 2 equal groups. I want to make those 2 equal groups into 2 equal columns. Remember, columns go up and down. So I'm going to make this group into an up and down column. Up and down, up and down, up and down. There's 1. I need 2 columns. 1, 3, 4. There we go. I now have 2 equal columns with 8 square tiles. All right, now I need to write a repeated addition equation to match this array. Now, there are 2 equations I could write for this. It depends on whether I'm looking at the columns or the rows. For these purposes, I'm going to do both. If I wanted to write a repeated addition equation to match my rows, we need to look at what's going on from side to side. So here's my first row, side to side to side. How many are in that row? 2. How many in my second row? 2. Third row? 2. And fourth row? 2. 2 plus 2 is 4, plus 2 is 6, plus 2 is 8. Good. Now I want to write an equation to match my columns. Remember, columns go up and down. I'm going to move my mouse up and down. How many tiles are in my first column? 4. How many are in my second column? 4. 4 plus 4 is 8. Notice, did my total change from this array to this array to these equations? Did it change? Yes or no? No, I have 8 in my first row, 8 in my array, and my total is the same for rows and columns. All right, remember these equations are both correct. They just show different ways to organize an array. All right, one more thing I want to show you is the Google form that you will find on Google Classroom. For this form, there are a couple questions that have you selecting more than one answer. For example, down here, this says, Which repeated addition equation matches the array below? You may select more than one. Down here, these square boxes are check marks, and I'll do this in the preview mode so you can see what it'll look like. So here, for example, there are more than one answers for this question. If it says, which repeated addition equation matches this array, I'm going to look down here. I'm going to look at the answers and think, this one is a repeated addition equation. This may not be right, this may not be wrong. I'm just giving an example. But I also think this one is. So this allows you to select more than one answer. If you select one and then you say later, oh, no, that one's wrong, you can click it again and it'll deselect. All right. Same thing goes for this one. It says you may select more than one. In this case, these are sentence frames. So it says 2 rows of 5 equals 10. If you think that's correct, go ahead and select it. Then it says 2 columns of 5 equals 10. If you think that's right, go ahead and select. There will be more than one for each of these last questions. So make sure you are selecting more than one. All right? See you later, second grade.